are going to analyze lesson World Heritage. As Sanskriti and Brunel gave us brief information about World Heritage. What is a World Heritage? A World Heritage site is a landmark or area. For example, any building, monument, okay, with legal protection by an international convention administered by the United Nations. Okay. Now, before we start with the actual explanation part, I want you all to answer few of my questions. Okay. My first question to you all is, what does UNESCO stands for? UNESCO. These questions have been based on your previous knowledge. You have studied it in your history, political science. What does UNESCO stands for? Yes, Drishti answered first. UNESCO stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. Okay, good. Everyone have answered it correctly, most of you all. Okay. Again, I repeat myself, UNESCO stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. Now, second question, what is meant by heritage? What is meant by heritage? Om replied, heritage means an ancient place like caves, statues. Okay, yes. Anyone else? Good, Om. Heritage is something that is, Neha replied, heritage is something that is valued and preserved because of its historical importance. Not only historical, Neha, because of its historical, cultural and natural significance. Yeah. Drishti replied, the tradition, qualities and culture of a country that have existed for a long time and that have great importance for the country. Yeah, true. It is a landmark or area which is legally protected by UNESCO. Yes, why it is protected, Neeraj? Because of its significance, because of its importance. Okay, my next question to you all is, what is the difference between World Heritage and cultural heritage? First, write down the meaning of World Heritage. Write down the meaning of World Heritage. According to you all, what is the meaning of World Heritage? Yes, World Sanskriti replied, World Heritage belongs to all in the world. Yeah, whatever sites are there on that particular site will be visited or can be visited by each and everyone. Okay, good. Neha replied, means a global heritage that belongs to everyone. Yes, Neha, correct. He Neha from 10th B replied, World Heritage is a heritage that belongs to everyone. Yes, correct. So this are actually due to why it is called as World Heritage. I already told you. Correct answer you have told about World Heritage. Now tell me about cultural heritage. What is the meaning of cultural heritage? What is the meaning of cultural heritage? It is developed by community and passed from generation. Okay, Sanskriti. But exact meaning of cultural heritage I want. Cultural heritage is from the particular culture. Okay. Om replied about World Heritage. Okay. Which has cultural importance for the people living in that region so that the culture is preserved. Yes, Shruti. And intangible. Tangible means what? That we can touch, feel. Intangible means what? Which we cannot touch and feel. Okay, with the senses. So cultural heritage includes those heritage that are tangible. For example, monuments, buildings, landscape. Okay, these are the examples of tangible culture. Whereas intangible culture means what? Language, folk, okay, knowledge. What are this? These are the example of intangible. Okay, and when we study, when we preserve tangible and intangible things, okay, uh, is called as cultural heritage. And what is this heritage? As you all exactly told, that it is there belonging to the particular region. Okay, when we store, when we preserve this of a region, then what will happen? We will pass from one generation to another generation. And once it is getting passed from one generation to another generation, the knowledge is also transferred from one generation to another generation. So that is why preserving and protecting and maintaining world and cultural heritage is very, very, very important. So I hope you understood the meaning of world heritage. So we are going to learn those related to those heritage that are accepted globally, okay, in this particular chapter. And first, those heritage will be nominated as cultural heritage. Then only it will be there in all over world. This is the second point. Okay, moving ahead. Now I will be explaining you all what is heritage cycle. Okay, now heritage, we got to know some important side having important features, and it is very important to preserve so that it has been passed from generation to generation. Now what is the heritage cycle? The heritage cycle was originally created by Simon Thurley in the year 2005, and it was developed by culturalindevelopment.nl. Now, what was the main purpose for him to develop this cycle? The main purpose was that people should understand heritage, people should understand valuing. People, if people will value, what will people do? People will care and people will start enjoying. So this cycle is there in the clockwise direction. You can see it is there in the clockwise direction. What Simon is telling us, that first as an individual we should understand. If we will understand heritage site, we will value it. We will start valuing it. If we start valuing it, then we will want to care for it. The things which we value, we start caring, right? In the same way, we will start caring for a heritage site. And then if, after caring, what we will do? People will enjoy, people will visit, more and more tourist people will come, as a place will be quite good and attractive once we start caring and protecting. And once we start enjoying it, comes a thirst to understand. Then we will understand more and more the importance of the cultural heritage, and this cycle goes on. So this is the heritage cycle. This theory is presented to us by, and it is created by Simon in the year 2005. In short, the heritage cycle diagram gives us an idea that how we can make the past part of a future. Okay, so moving ahead, now I'll be asking you a few questions. Okay, very few questions. You need to answer me in the chat box. Okay, and it is related to your general knowledge, obviously. And if you are able to answer all of my questions correctly, then you have already started preparing for your competitive exam. That is, for example, UPSC, IAS, IES, MPSC, whatever the competitive exams are there. So my first question to you all is, who built the Red Fort of Agra? Who built the Red Fort of Agra? Do not refer whatever answer you all know. Quickly you need to answer me. It is quite easy. No? Answer is wrong. When the correct answer will come, I'll tell you all. No. Whoever is replying no. Yes, one answer I got, Akbar. Yeah, that is why, what did I say? Who built the Red Fort of Agra? Abid, you heard the question of Agra I'm asking. Yes, Akbar is the correct answer. Now my next question to y'all is, where Ellora caves are situated? Next question. Yes, Sanskriti, you were the first one to reply. Maharashtra is the correct answer. Shreyas, Maharashtra is the correct answer. Third question. Who built Red Fort of Delhi? Of Delhi now. Correct, Neha? Yes, Drishti, correct. Shah Jahan, yeah. Now my next question to you all is, where is the Great Himalayan National Park? Which place it is located? Which state it is located? Tell me the state. Where is the Great Himalayan National Park? Yeah, Drishti, Himachal Pradesh is the correct answer. Ronald, okay. Why Kaziranga National Park is famous? The reason behind it. Next question. Yeah, Shruti, you were the first one to reply. Because and next Om and Sanskriti for the world's great one-horned rhinoceros. Now, next question. Where is Manas Wildlife Sanctuary located? Which place? Yes, correct, Om. Assam. Good. So, next question. Ajanta caves are situated in which state of India? No, Diksha. Yes, correct, Sanskriti. Drishti, Abir, Deepika. Maharashtra is the correct answer. Now, last question. Sun Temple of Konark, a UNESCO Cultural Heritage Site, is in which state? Is in which state? Sun Temple of Konark is there in which state? Yes, Neeraj, Odisha is the state. Is the correct answer. Replied by Ipshita first. Good. So basically, this kind of basic questions they will be asking you all for your competitive exam. So you all have to be prepared for it. Once you start preparing for it, then you can easily crack those exams. So let's move ahead now to our main content. From this particular chapter, we will know about the importance of World Heritage Site, history of World Heritage Site, the World Heritage Committee, becoming a world, what things are required for becoming a World Heritage Site, types of World Heritage Site, World Heritage Sites in danger. What will happen if a particular site is there in danger? What are the measures taken by the UNESCO? That all we are going to study in this particular chapter. Moving ahead now, the very first point is about the introduction part. Introduction part tells us that a World Heritage Site is a site. Site means what over here? Location, place, building, monument, spot, anything. Okay. So a World Heritage Site is a site determined. Determined means what? Declared or set on by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. So what they are telling over here in your first paragraph of your textbook, they are telling us that whatever World Heritage Sites are there, those sites are been declared by UNESCO. Okay. And why they have when are the things included in this particular site? The reason behind it is because of its significant cultural and natural importance to humanity. Humanity means human being or human population. When a particular cultural site or natural site is having importance, it has contributed, it's give us some information, or it plays a vital role. Yes. So that particular, for a human being, okay, if we get some message, some history is related to it, then as such the sites are protected for this particular reason. For its importance, the site are been preserved, protected and maintained by the International World Heritage Program. So what are this? These sites have been protected and maintained by World Heritage Program and administered. The word administered means managed, and these sites have been managed by UNESCO World Heritage Committee. So protect and maintained by the International World Heritage Program. and it is administered by UNESCO World Heritage Committee. Next point tells us about the types of World Heritage Site. There are three types of World Heritage Site: cultural, natural, and mixed. The meaning of cultural heritage site means it is there in the form of tangible and intangible. I told you already, which includes building, town sites, important archaeological sites, works of monument, sculpture, or paintings, features, okay, caves, we can say, temples, we can say. So what are these? Are the cultural heritage. Natural heritage means what? The things that are there naturally. It is known for its physical landscape characteristic. Mixed means what? When the particular heritage site is having combination of both cultural as well as natural. When a particular site is registered as World Heritage Site because of its cultural and natural importance. I'll be showing you a video of one of the example given in your textbook, that is the Mount in China. Okay, after this particular part. Yeah, like lakes, natural beauty, you told about lakes, Sanskriti, lake, mountain, forest, park, okay, what are for, yeah, that are naturally available. Mixed means what? We have nice scenic beauty as well as the cultural fort we will have, as well as side of beauty we will having. Okay, I'll be showing all this one example with the help. Next part is about the history of World Heritage Site. The idea of protecting cultural and natural heritage sites around the world began in the early 20th century. Now, from which period to which period is the 20th century? Write down in the chat box. 20th century is from which period to which period? Yes, 1901 to 2000 is 1901 to 2000 is a 20th century. So what they're telling in this particular paragraph, that the idea of protecting cultural and natural heritage around the world began in the early of 20th century, but actually implementation was not until the year 1950s. In the year 1954, government of Egypt started plan to build the Aswan High Dam to collect and control water from the Nile River. The initial plan, initial means the start of this plan of construction of dam, and the scores of means what over here? Plenty of, many of ancient Egyptian artifacts. Artifacts means what? Students will have studied in history. What is the meaning of artifacts? What is the meaning of artifacts? Yes, any object or material, any object made by a human being. Okay, it's called as artifacts. Artifacts. So to protect this particular temple and artifacts, UNESCO had launched an international campaign in the year 1959. I'll clear once again first point. We got to know that till early of 20th century, we got the people had got the idea that it is very important to protect the cultural and natural heritage, but it was not executed till 1950s. Then in the year 1954, Egypt had started to build a Aswan High Dam. Okay, uh, the reason behind is because of they want. Okay, so as they decided to build this dam, it would have while doing this particular part, it would have affected the artifacts of Egyptian as well as Abu Simbel temple. So to protect the temple and artifacts, UNESCO launched an international campaign in the year 1959. UNESCO launched a campaign in the year 1959 just to protect this temple. You can see this particular picture. Okay. that called for the dismantling. Dismantling means disassembling or pulling down, and movement of the temple to a higher ground. This temple was there in the low-lying area because of it was been affected. Water was hitting this particular. You can see in this particular picture. This is an old picture how water is flushing into this and affecting the temple. So what this UNESCO did, UNESCO decided that it is better to move this particular temple at a height. Okay, and how they will move, they have to remove, collect one by dismantling the things. Okay, is my screen visible, students? Okay, I'll share again then. Now Sanskrit, is it visible for you? Okay, let's I'll revise again. What happened in the year, when did the planning took place, from which century? Early of 20th century, but execution was not done till the year 19 1950. Okay, in the year 1954, Egypt government had started the plan to build the dam. As they were building this dam, they approached to the temple and to move the temple at a height. Now, this project cost an estimated, the word estimate means approximately, of $80 million in US, out of which 40 million they borrowed it from 50 different countries. And because of the project's success, UNESCO and the International Council on Monuments and Site initiated a draft. Initiated a draft means they started planning and started preparing for the agreement. They started preparing for the agreement. Okay, you can see this particular temple before and after picture is there. Before it was there down, and then it was been shifted to a proper height. Okay, and the temple is exactly same. It has not lost its original importance. Okay, so after this, UNESCO and the International Council on Monuments and Site had started preparing a draft. Okay, and they had created an international organization responsible for cultural heritage. Okay, moving ahead now. Shortly thereafter, in the year 1965, in the year 1965, a White House conference in United States called for a World Heritage Trust to protect the historical site and also to protect the natural and sink site. Finally, in the year 19, in the next year, 1968, International Union for Conservation. Conservation means protection and prevention of natural protection and prevention of natural heritage sites. Okay, nature had the same similar goal and presented at the United Nations Conference on Human Environment in Stockholm, Sweden in the year 1972. So first conference was there in the year 1965. This conference was there at White House, which is located in United States. Okay, where the main aim or the main objective of the conference was to protect historical and natural site. The second conference took in the place in the year 1968, where International Union for Conservation had the same goal, and they presented their draft at the United Nations Conference on Human Environment in the Stockholm, which was places there at Sweden in the year 1972. Okay, now following the presentation of this goal, what was the goal? To protect the historical, cultural, and natural sites. So the goal, the convention concerning the protection of world cultural and natural heritage was adopted by UNESCO's General Conference on November 16, 1972. So in the year 1972, this approval, this draft was been accepted, approved, and people were starting working on the protection of cultural and natural heritage. Moving ahead now. I hope the content is clear till here. The next part tells us about the World Heritage Committee. Committee means what? A group of people who are in charge and who are taking care after the particular project. So the World Heritage Committee is a main group. It is what? It is a main group. This committee meet once a year. Okay, it's the main group. And what is the responsibility of this group? The main responsibility of this group is for establishing which site will be listed as UNESCO World Heritage Site. This committee will decide that which site will be listed under World Heritage Site. This committee meets once a year. This committee meets once a year and consists of representatives from 21 state parties. Now, and this particular committee is having what people? The people are represented from 21 state parties. They are elected for 6 years term. The people who are there, they will enjoy, or they will be given rights to, or they will be there in that particular work for 6 years. Okay, by the World Heritage Center's General Assembly. Okay, again I repeat myself, the World Heritage Committee is a main group, and this group has a responsibility to decide which site will be listed under UNESCO. This committee meet once a year. It has representative of 21 state parties, means 21 different regions. Representative people are there sitting in this particular committee, in this particular meeting. Okay, Neha? And these people are elected for 6 years. Now suppose I am there, today is this is my first year. 6 years I will be working with this particular committee by the World Heritage. And who elects this particular committee people, representative? They have been elected by World Heritage Center's General Assembly. This is another group. Yeah, political term. That is why I told you this subject, this chapter we are going to correlate it with political science, history, and geography. Who are electing this 21 state parties, representative from 21 state parties? World Heritage Center's General Assembly. Now, next thing, the state parties are responsible for identifying. The word identifying means recognizing, and nominating. Nominating means what? Appointing new sites within their territory to be considered for inclusion. The word inclusion means including on the World Heritage List. In short, the representative from 21 state parties are responsible for identifying, appointing new sites within their territory to be considered as a part of World Heritage List. Moving ahead now. Next thing comes about the becoming a World Heritage Site. There are total 5 steps. There are total 5 steps in becoming a World Heritage Site. Okay, the first of which is for a country or a state party to take an inventory. Inventory means what? Detailed information. Okay, detailed list. Suppose World Heritage Site. To become a for a particular site to become a World Heritage Site, they need to cross these 5 steps. The first step is for a country, it's for a state party to take a detailed information about the importance of cultural and natural site. Okay, first what I will do as a representative of my area and my state, I will be collecting those sites information that I feel or that people are feeling that no, this particular site should be included in the heritage site list. This list is called as the tentative list. The first one is to prepare a tentative list. This is done by the state party. This is done by the state party. The second point, and it's important for this list is very important because of nomination to the World Heritage List will be not considered unless they are nominated or included in the tentative list. Certainly, I can't go on to the second step. If I want to be the part of this World Heritage, my site want to be the part of World Heritage site, then my site should be registered in the tentative list. It is mandatory. Okay. The second point. The second point is the nomination file. Okay. Next, country are then able to select sites from their tentative list to be included on nomination file. After preparing the tentative list, what I will do, I will cut short. Yeah, mandatory means compulsory. It is very, very compulsory to be, for the sites to be included in tentative list. Once it is included, then nomination file or nomination list will be prepared. In the nomination list, we will jot down few of the sites that are included in the tentative list. The next country are able to select from tentative list to be included on nomination file. The third step is of evaluation. The third step is of review of the nomination file by two advisory body. The first body is International Council on Monument and Site, and the second body is the World Conservation Union. These two people, what they do, they give recommendation, they suggest the proposal to the World Heritage Committee. The World Heritage Committee meets once a year to see the recommendation given by the advisory bodies, and then they decide which site will be added to the World Heritage List. The final step is becoming a World Heritage Site to be the part of World Heritage List. The final step is becoming a World Heritage Site is determining whether or not a nominated site. Okay, now what is the criteria for a particular site to be there in this particular list? The main criteria is there are total 10 criteria. 6 criteria are there for our cultural heritage. 4 criteria are there for the natural heritage. Out of 10, at least one criteria that particular site should fit in. Okay, if they are fitting in this criteria, then they can be the part of that particular site will be the part of World Heritage List. Once a site goes through the process and is chosen, it remains the property of the country on whose territory it sits. Suppose India, which the place is there. But it also becomes considered within the international community. It is that particular site will be the part of state as well as the globe. Okay, I hope the content is clear. Okay, for becoming a World Heritage Site, we have 5 steps. After crossing the 5 steps, a site will become a World Heritage Site. Next part is about, okay, types of World Heritage Site. As of 2000, this table includes breakdown of the site according to the zone and their classification as of 2009. In your textbook table, they have given us one paragraph. Okay, this paragraph is of 2009. In 2009, there were total 890 World Heritage Sites. Out of, they are located in 148 countries, out of which 689 sites are cultural, 176 sites are natural, and 25 of the World Heritage sites are mixed. That is natural as well as cultural. Okay, you can see the heading is given on top. Next point, they have told over here that Italy has the highest number of World Heritage sites with 44, and India has 36, out of which 28 is cultural, 7 is natural, and 1 is mixed World Heritage site. Next point, they have told us about the World Heritage Committee has divided the world's country into 5 geographical zones. First one is Africa, second Africa, Arab states, Asia and Pacific, Europe and North America, Latin America and Caribbean. Okay, so the World Heritage has divided the entire world into 5 geographical zones. Okay, now this is the extra information. This is not the part of your textbook. As on June 2020, I have put the picture of your. This is the latest information. Okay, total 1,121 sites are the part of what do you say, World Heritage sites, out of which 869 are of cultural, 213 are of natural, and 39 is of mixed. Okay, and in India total we have 38 sites now. In India total we have 38 sites now. This was the extra information for you all. Now, next point is about the World Heritage Site in danger. Now, like many natural and historical cultural sites around the world, many World Heritage sites are in danger and being damaged, destroyed due to the war, poaching means illegal hunt, natural disasters like earthquake, uncontrolled urbanization means the development of cities, expansion of city, natural and man-made, yes, Ria, heavy tourist traffic and environmental factors like air pollution and acid rain. These World Heritage sites are in danger. Once they have been, if a particular site are in danger, they are written on a separate list of World Heritage. They are been written on the separate list of World Heritage site in danger, which allows the World Heritage Committee to allocate resources. Allocate resources means what? Might be finance, might be some things for the World Heritage Forum to that site. Different plans are put into place to protect and or restore this site. If, however, a site loses the characteristics which allowed for it to be originally included on the World Heritage site, the committee can choose to delete the site from the list. If at all a particular site is there in danger and that site has lose its originality, then what will happen? World Heritage Committee will remove or will delete that particular site from the World Heritage list. For more information, you can refer whc.unesco, that is unesco.org. Okay, now let's recall whatever we have studied till now.